Hello everyone, this is your daily dose of internet. These scientists took a 3,000-year-old mummy to a hospital to scan his throat. They wanted to scan his throat because they wanted to learn what this mummy sounded like.
Sup, ladies and gentlemen, Accolonn here, and welcome back. I just want to make sure everyone understands, this is not my theory, this is Lockdog's theory. Lockdog really loves making the memes. This is the kind of shit he comes up with. And before I tell you what the theory is about, we need to discuss a couple of things that may or may not have thought about before. So this theory really has to do with the Eternal Ones and who the Eternal Ones actually are. Now, in order to start this theory, we have to go look at the closest example we have of the Eternal Ones. The closest to them, and that would be Titans. We don't know much about the Eternal Ones. We know that they rule the Shadowlands and that each of them have their own zone, or so we think. Who is the Titans? What do they do? When they arrived, and for this, you guys know what time it is.
Map time.
It's map time. So the Titans arrive in reality. We know because they tell us this is reality. They arrive in reality, and what is it that they do, chat? They start ordering it. Based on what they did with Azeroth, they most likely did the same sort of things on different planets within the universe. So what do they do on Azeroth? First, they rip up an old god, realize bad idea, so they create armies for themselves. Next, they set up forges, they set up the Emerald Dream. They tell us that they didn't set up the Shadowlands, and they don't know what is in the Shadowlands, but that could be a lie. The Titans tell us in the Chronicles that the Emerald Dream was created by, well, basically 4 different people, but the only constant in all 4 groups of these people is Accolonn and Aeonar, right? So we're going to ignore the other people that may or may not have had a hand in the creation of the Emerald Dream, and we're going to say, we know that Aeonar and Accolonn specifically had a hand in the creation of the Emerald Dream. To the Shadowlands, however, they tell us that they don't know who made this. This realm seems to be where all souls go when they die, and that really is the end of it. Think about the amount of power that the Shadowlands holds, and then you start to realize why perhaps they didn't tell us anything extra about the Shadowlands. Because if you look at the map and how the map is set up, it becomes very clear that this is an interlocking system. When Sylvana said this world is a prison, these runes causes this entire little system to be its own little prison. Nothing comes in, nothing goes out. Souls get born, they move to reality to live, they move into the Shadowlands to die, they get fed back into the Emerald Dream to be reborn, back into reality, back into the Shadowlands to die. So the system is effectively a cycle within itself. But what did the Titans do after? They made Watchers and they left. Now this is where Lockdog's theory comes in. If we believe that the Eternal Ones is as close, or the Titans is as close to the Eternal Ones as we can get, then why do we believe that the Eternal Ones themselves stuck around? We've been led to believe that the ones we're dealing with right now is the Eternal Ones. But what if they're the Watchers? What if when the Winter Queen told us, "This is of my sister," she was talking about Freya? There are 2 Eternal Ones that we know about. The only 2 Eternal Ones that we've ever learnt about. The Primus and Zuval. The Archon, the Winter Queen, Side and Athreus, they are Watchers. What did the Shadowlands actually look like before all of this happened? Either the Shadowlands is an entirely new creation. This system is to ensure that none of these other cosmological forces ever get their hands on the anima that exist within living souls. I don't think that the Shadowlands belongs to Death. I think all of this was built to keep the other forces from interfering with reality. Let's imagine that I'm wrong. I'm often wrong, but let's imagine that I am wrong. And the Shadowlands is natural. It actually does belong to the realms of Death. What would Death look like without the interference of the Eternal Ones? For countless eons, the Shadowlands was in perfect order. So what did it look like before perfect order? Before the Eternal Ones, aka Titans, arrived in the Shadowlands? I believe when you die, your soul enters the soul stream, you go into the maw, and from there you choose where you want to spend eternity. You choose who you wish to serve for all eternity. When the Eternal Ones arrive there, they realize that there is a massive amount of untapped power within this realm. And if any of these forces, if the void, if order, if life, if light or disorder get their hands on this power, it would be the end of the universe. And if we are correct, and the Eternal Ones are like the Titans, why does anyone believe that they would have stuck around after they built their perfect system? The only one that refers to Zuval as brother is the Primus. If we take a look at the Titans, it's clear that they don't do a lot of free thinking. The Titans are very one-track minded, if you will. However, they definitely have the ability to swap things around, to try something else. The Watchers are the ones who never seem to deviate from their original creation. If they were created to do something very specific, then that's what they do. When you play the Kyrian campaign, the Kyrians know that the Arbiter is broken. They know that every single soul goes into the maw. They keep doing their job. They keep taking souls, taking it into the soul, a river of souls. And the souls go straight to the maw. They never stop, not fucking once. They just keep doing the job that they're meant to do. Because the Archon was programmed to follow the purpose. The Winter Queen she clearly hates Zuval. She calls him monster. What if the reason she does that is because he's the one that killed her creators? What if Zuval did what Sargeras did? Killed his own brothers and sisters? That would absolutely make him a betrayer, because it's his brothers and sisters that he betrayed. He slaughtered them. The Winter Queen, the Archon, and Sire Denathrius are all terrified of Zuval. The Winter Queen states in the meeting, and we have all of them standing around Arbiter's room, the Winter Queen states that with Zuval free, they are dead. It's done, it's over, they can't win. What do you mean they can't win? This is your brother, he's like you. So, I mean, surely you guys should be on sort of the same power level? So here is what Lockdog himself wrote about this theory.
Accolonn was playing Maldraxxus' campaign and noticed something in the Primus' message when he says, "I am the Primus. Your presence within my sanctum means a darkness has fallen upon Maldraxxus and all the realms of death. Ages ago, the Eternal Ones punished our brother Zuval for his treachery. The way he says our brother Zuval, he is speaking to other characters from Maldraxxus, meaning this message is meant first to be seen by someone from Maldraxxus and then to be delivered to the Archon, the Winter Queen, and the Sire."
Now that was the first bit that was really interesting to me, because it makes sense. The only place you could have gotten this message, the only place you could have learned about this is from Maldraxxus. Now, what's more interesting is that it seems like this message was only meant for mortals. This is where I disagreed with Lockdog's initial theory, but it was only once we arrived at the stone broke open to show us the blade. Prior to that, no one knew that the blade of the Primus was even there.
That would imply that Duval is originally from Maldraxxus, and that's why the Archon, Winter Queen, and Sire don't call him brother.
And then he goes on to say,
When the Primus says this, there is but one hope to save the Shadowlands. The Eternal Ones must stand together once more before the Jailer escapes them all. It could seem that the Archon, the Winter Queen, and the Sire aren't Eternal Ones, because in what context he mentions them. They should see to our defenses. Why would they see to the defenses if they are really Eternal Ones?
Titans, they made their Watchers, and their Watchers were meant to see to the war. I mean, there's a lot that we can factor into this theory, obviously. I will just give you guys a little bit of a teaser for Tuesday. Slight teaser. Imagine a world where the Primus, the Rune Carver, and the Jailer